Big five biggest games on the schedule that are not Raven games this week. I think too. There's a pretty big distance as far as the biggest game on the schedule is the Ravens game. I think the Ravens and the Eagles is definitely one of the biggest games on the schedule for next week. But two best records, I think, in the NFL. I think going against two best records as far as playing each other on the schedule as well. So last week, what happened in Week 5? Um, Bears, I think, just have the unfortunate of being in a very good division. like the Packers are like the third best team, but they are the Packers are the third best team. That's putting the Bears in fourth. Bears don't look too bad. I mean, I think Caleb Williams is getting better and better. I mean, he had a great week last week. He had like 340 yards as well. I think the Vikings defense is for real. There's no question about it. Their offense is for real. Sam Darnold, I think, is playing well. I mean, I definitely think he's definitely outstanding. Aaron Jones, Jordan Addison. So, yeah, the Vikings are no joke as well. Lions and Colts are kind of the way I thought it would. I would stick with Flacco if I'm the Colts, but they're kind of I don't know. They have again. I keep saying with the Colts, they have players, but they just don't. They're not consistent enough. Lions, I think, are on another level. I think this is the best team in the NFL right during the course of the season. Their margin of victory has been incredibly convincing. Packers and the 49ers last week. Pack steamrolling the Niners. Niners didn't have Brock Purdy in this game. Brandon Allen played. Josh Jacobs ran all over the field. I think just kind of wore him down. Niners saying the only thing that might save them is this division that they're in as well. Cardinals and the Seahawks. Seahawks are hanging in. Seahawks are hanging in. I thought the Cardinals too, but they missed a huge opportunity last week. Murray, not quite as good for them. Trey McBride had a good day, but that was about it. And the Eagles, I mean, we kind of already talked about it with the Eagles and the Rams. I mean, Saquon Barkley, I mean, I mean, I thought he was going to get tired from running. he had so much space. It was crazy. So good for them getting that squared away. What's happening? The Dolphins and the Packers. I don't know if the tundra is going to be frozen in the most revered stadium in the league, Packers and the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins look like a totally different team with Tua Tagovailoa in there for sure. I think under a lot of circumstances they would win. I think this is just not a good matchup for them. They're going into Green Bay. They struggle in warm weather. They rely on decisive passing, and they're going against a team I think that's one of the better teams in the NFL. Josh Jacobs is really on a roll with them. Jordan Love has struggled at times a bit this year with interceptions. I think the defense is really good. Xavier McKinney is really playing well. He got an interception again last week. So I do like that Packers in this one against the Dolphins, rather. Sorry. All right, the Squealers and the Bengals in Cincinnati. Cincinnati, believe it or not, is actually not dead yet in terms of the playoffs and all that yet. They're 4-7, but you look at the AFC. I think if they could put together a run, they're still not quite dead. I think them at home against the Squealers team that just doesn't impress me on offense. They just don't. I mean, their offense is just so pedestrian. It just doesn't score a lot of points. Russell, I think, is an upgrade. I think he plays fairly well. I think, but I just you cannot go but so far with this. Defensively, they're going to have to do it for them. Defensively, they've been, I think, fantastic. I think TJ Watt, we know he's a handful. Cameron Hayward, Mick Fitzpatrick. Secondary, I think, is coming around. Joey Porter's had some issues, but I think he's pretty solid. Deshaun Elliott, former Ravens, been really good for them. Fitzpatrick. I like the Bengals in this one. That's kind of why I picked this game, because I kind of think the Bengals. Burrow has been really good lately. I don't think every week you can score the way they're scoring and have it work. All right, Chargers and the Falcons. Chargers, I think, are going to go ahead and play against the Atlanta Falcons on Sunday. Chargers, I think, are pretty good. I do like the Chargers, despite the result on Sunday night. I think I definitely do like what they're building. I could kind of say the same thing about the Falcons, though. I think the Falcons have some issues overall on defense, but I do think they are very good defensively. They have the potential to be good defensively. Statistically, they're not real good. Not as good as the Chargers. Let's see how the Chargers bounce back. I think they kind of bounce back in this one. The Falcons, there's nothing about I would say about them that really jumps out at me as well. There's some good players. I think there's good potential on there. I think Los Angeles is still, I think, one of the top. I think they dropped down like top 15 in defense. Atlanta, I think, is on defense like 26 or something like that. So I think they'll have more success in the run game. Gus Edwards is going to do it for them. We know what they're going to do. They're going to run the ball. I think this would be interesting. I like the Chargers in this one. Here's the two teams that probably you didn't expect like this season as well. Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals against the Minnesota Vikings and Sam Darnold as well. Arizona, I think, kind of is what it is. They kind of, as Darnold as Kyler Murray goes, I think they go. I think that's kind of the narrative with them. He's been really good this year. He's good, period. I think, I don't know if he'll ever be an elite quarterback, but I kind of put him on the Flacco level. You're going to win with him, but I think you got to have stuff around him. It's not going to necessarily work where he's a Joe Burrow or Josh Allen, where he doesn't need it, where you don't need anything else, Patrick Mahomes, whatever. It's not that, but I think he's got some stuff around him. Trey McBride, his tight end, is having a really, really good year. Arizona, I think, is pretty good. I don't know what to think, though, if they're going to win that division or not. I don't know what's going on in the West. I really don't have an idea. I don't have a good read at all. James Conner's pretty good. I know that. Budda Baker, they have some good players, but I'm not really getting a great read on the West. The Vikings are one of the best teams in the NFL. I don't think there's any question about it. Despite, I think, really the biggest problem, I think a lot of people would think, is that Sam Darnold. What we thought of him at the beginning of the year. He has been really good this season. There's no other way to say it. So Darnold has really answered the bell for them. Their offense, I think, is really good. Their defense is really good as well. No question about it. So Minnesota in this, I don't know what to think about. I'm supposed to know the answer, but I don't know what to think about the West. And when we saw this at the beginning of the year, this is the Chris Berman Bowl. For those of you that don't know, I don't know how many years he picked the Niners and the Bills for the Super Bowl. That never happened, considering how good they were in the 90s as well. So, couple of things here. 49ers, I think it's death by 1,000 cuts. I think there's clearly diminish on that. I don't know if they're going to have Purdy in this game. I don't think it's going to help them much against Buffalo. Josh Allen is playing on another level. He's actually even cut down the turnover, which I think, for me, I think was the biggest thing. Has to cut down on the turnovers, had to not have all the turnovers, etc. I think he's doing very, very well this season, carrying a Buffalo team Buffalo's defense, I would also say, has been better than I thought as well. Admittedly, I think Buffalo on defense, I think has been. Um, I thought with them losing the safeties, Micah Hyde and all that, etc., would really cost them. But I think they are much better on defense than I thought they were. Offensively, they're scoring like 29 points a game. So I don't think they go into Buffalo and win. Niners, I think, do lose to the Bills. There you go. Big Five. All right. Oh, the games on Sunday and Thursday, and obviously got games all this weekend. Black Friday, we got games as well. So NFL, probably other than Super Bowl, this is what we're talking about as football fans, as well as far as the NFL